years where we start, our investments are paying off, and definitely in the regional market segments, we're now having a very privileged place overall, because from the original turboprops with the ATR and Bombardier platforms, all the way up to the C series, what it used to be called the C series, the A320, with now investments as well on the Mitsubishi original jets as well as the Embraer. We've really bridged the whole spectrum of the regional market, and that's definitely something that we're very proud of. We take with humility as well. We don't rest on laurels, but definitely that's something that pushes us well in that market, especially considering that not only we're providing engines for those applications, but also the APUs. Definitely it's something that we will continue investing on, and it shows our clear commitment to the regional markets. In terms of the current program, as you know, we've been continuing supporting our existing OEMs on the ATR side. We're continuing progressing with the 127 and engines, which supports the new ATR applications. Recently, we've made some good inroads last year with the 127Ns, with Aeromar and upcoming now in Avianca. So that's definitely although it's a niche market, but it's definitely added capability to the ATR product. We're really proud to have upgraded that engine models. It's actually the 38 models of the 100. So when we talk about constant innovations, it's a clear testimony of that spirit. On the product side, we're also now working on developing new improvement in terms of the auto feather unit, so we'll do more of the digital units, which can definitely help on the maintenance side. And talking about maintenance side, we also now have rolled in the new fuel nozzle. So we get about 300 engines equipped with the fuel nozzle, and we're actively releasing this new product improvement as part of the new aircraft first fit or new aircraft equipment, but also as a retrofit. And that's going very well as well. We continue obviously developing the RFMP plans, and you'll see some of those a bit later, where we've managed to successfully secure more and more application. That's definitely something that we want to promote, because it does offer minimum costs, operating costs to the operator, and also give them the guarantee. So it's giving them really peace of mind. On the Q400 for the 150A, again, similarly, we keep improving the engines. We had a thermal elements package now that we're improving on the FOHE, which give better durability and lower maintenance costs to the operator. And there was a bit of an annoyance on the Falcon 900, which now we're coming up with new software versions, which can definitely continue to help and minimize the burden on the operator. So that's definitely good product improvements. On the commercial side, we're developing what we call severe environment package in some areas in the world where conditions are a bit more harsh. We've obviously worked with all those operators to extend their time on wing, but also we're coming up with commercial packages that both satisfy, I would say, the 100 and 150 customer and keep their DMC low, which is quite important. On the Airbus side, I would say the 100 is also used for our friends at Airbus Defence Systems, and we're very proud as well that, I don't know if you heard about 2 years ago, I think the government has selected the C295 as their application for the fixed wing search and rescue, and we're basically now moving to an EIS next year, so we're getting ready for that and working closely with the Canadian government on that front. As well, when we look at always continue to improve our engines, a big part of it is better understand how the engine is operated, how the engine is monitored, and from that we've continued developing our FAST solution. FAST stands for flight acquisitions, storage, and transmission. So that's basically the diagnostic, prognostic, health monitoring of the engines. So we had a lot of success recently on the original operators. We get more than, I would say, 500 operators now using the FAST systems, and we're expanding it with the propeller, both vibration and upcoming balancing solutions. That's definitely something that we think that could yield good results for our operators. Taking that base of customers, also expanding to new applications. So you see 4 coming on and leveraging, I would say, like the investment I talked about. So 2 for the 150, 2 for the 100 on the antenna side. You've seen past few years where we've worked with Antonov and the Saudi government to develop a re-engineering version of the AN32, which is called the AN132D for the demo. We had our first flight last year and then demonstrated all the very good capability during the Farnborough or Paris Air Show last year, and was it last year also at Dubai. So that's definitely a great application. We have more than 60 hours accumulated on that platform, and it's looking very good in the future to become potential viable solutions there. Similarly, it's on the right-hand side on the MA700, we're continuing working with our Chinese partner and customer there, where we've developed a improved version of the 158 called the 150C, which provides 4 to 5% better fuel burn, and we're driving to support their upcoming flight testing next year, with a expected entry into service in 2022. On the 100 side, we're working with SNC and 328 Dornier, where we have an agreement in place, and we're looking at resurrecting the 328 lines, and we'll offer a 127-like engine. So we're expecting to certify our engines in about 3 years from now. And finally, we have last year secured a memorandum of understanding with Illusions to eventually also restart the 127 line. So that's, again, very happy with that. We're hoping to be able to ship them engines and be able to conduct the prototype flight next year. So stay tuned for that, and we'll provide more update in the next year. On the called gear turbofan, the Pilo 1000 engines, that's a real success story here, where we've built a strong foundation. So these are the same engines that are our same architecture that's used for both the 320neo on the single-aisle version, as well as the A220, or formerly the C series. So a lot of good achievement to date. I mean, we've reached over 1 million hours, 1.1 million, roughly 800,000, 900,000 on the Neo, and about 200,000 on the A220. So that's a great achievement. But that using that technology and that engine architecture, now we're rolling into the original business side, both with the Embraer, which enters service this year with Widerøe, as well as we're going to use it for both the MRJ and the Aircraft. So overall, great performance. We've got about 16% reduction in fuel burn, great reductions in noise footprint. We're talking about 3 times less, as well as half the emission reduced, so what we call regulated emissions. So that's definitely key, great achievements. We've got more than 9,000 engines in order for all those applications at the 80 customers. So that's quite good. And when we look back at the EIS of those engines, so a couple of years back, we've basically saved about 65 million tons of carbon. That's worth about $120 million for all those operators. So that's roughly $1 million of saving per year per aircraft reaching their operator. So quite a success. Mm-hmm. But we're not staying there. Obviously, there's a couple more development coming up on both the 220, the E-Jet, and the MRJs. So on the 220, we're looking at now the ETOP certification, which should happen this year or early next year. Good momentum as well with Air Baltics, where they've topped up some of their orders. So definitely a clear testimony that the product is delivering on their expectations as well. And we're looking obviously at JetBlue's and Delta's as new U.S. Star Airlines. So that's definitely a big win for us. On the E-Jet as well, as you know, we're certifying the 190 and 170 engines, both for the 190, 195, and eventually for the 175. I talked about the entry into service for Widerøe, so that's excellent, and very good reliability at entry into service. And obviously the next steps for us is obviously working with Embraer to support the entry into service with some of the key customers you see there, such as Azul, Air Astana, and finishing the first engine for the 1700 for the 175. On the Mitsubishi jets, the engine is certified, so we're working with Embraer to support their entry into service. You've got about 1,000 flights, 4,000 hours accumulated to date, and then we have the full production engines prototypes been delivered. So working with Embraer, and we're expecting an entry into service mid-2020, but definitely we could have the latest version from the Mitsubishi team. And finally, on the APU side, similar story overall. When you look back, we have a strong foundations, both with the Embraer and the Bombardier Classics, the Q1, 2, 3, and as well the Q400s. Now, the last 3 applications, we've basically refreshed our APS 2300, APS 2600, 2600 to provide more electrical power and more high altitude capability. And that has entered service in both COMAC for the ARJ21 as well as the Embraer, 190, 195. And we have that same AP also, so Mitsubishi 70 and 90. So again, very good footprint, and looking forward to bring new innovation into service. So that kind of concludes a quick update of the various engine programs. I'll get into now more about the what we're doing in terms of new innovation, engine, and service. But really, when we talk about innovation, talk service, our key mindset, our key focus is on driving customer values, right? And basically, what we're looking at is, provide solutions that give them, make a more competitive aircraft, whatever platform we have, integrate ourselves better with the airlines, so we could provide, strengthen their business models, and provide, obviously better aircraft value in both current but also future, maintaining resource values on those aircraft. So that's definitely our mindset. So everything we do from an innovation point of view drive to meet those I would say objectives. That's why when we look at always looking at how we can improve engine powers, how we're going to maintain 30 to 40% better fuel burn over the new jets. That's, we understand on the turboprop side, that's what really matters. Maintenance cost is always a key element. So obviously try to look at how we extend time on wings, how we minimize work scope, provide repairs and so on, so that overall the operator have the options, selections to go to have a multiple options to reduce their AMCs and better tailor to their applications. But talk about increasing either maintenance interval. We definitely don't want to do it at the cost of aircraft availability or reliability. So as we extend work, so we're also looking at making sure that the engine will maintain a strong reliability as it's built its reputation on. And obviously looking at more and more, especially when we look at Europe, the environmental footprint is very important. So how we develop solutions that look at minimizing the impact of our industry on the environment. So we could be, like I often said, not only the best company of the world, but the best company for the world. And then recently what we've done here is we've also participated with both OEMs, ATR and Bombardier, on various biofuel demonstrator programs. And that's definitely something that we're going to continue doing in order to promote our application in front of the industry. So when we talk about more of a product point of view, we'll look at innovations. We've tackling innovation from many angles. We're looking at new architectures, but also looking at component technology development, so that we could either come up with new engine center line, or as well have the technology and I would say the inventory of technology that could help always refreshing our product line. And we've done that in the past, and it's definitely something we're going to continue doing in the future. So from a demonstrator point of view, we've done a compressor demonstrator with the NGRT that was delivered across from 2012 to 2015. And this is an area where we met all our objectives, and we have now developed a brand new compressor for potential 90 packs whenever it comes. But more importantly also, as we continue progressing our technology to improve our impeller technology, which could then be used both on the current or existing programs as well. Similarly, when we do programs, we often leverage new developments. So that's the case for the 150C, where we develop a brand new hot section technology. So actually some of the technology is coming from the gear turbofan, so that obviously that makes the back end more durable and provide the opportunity to grow some of the engine in terms of power as well. And finally, when we look at about overall system integrations, we're looking at demonstrator programs where we could better integrate our engines with the aircraft, or our engines, when we talk about propeller, with the propeller. And that's something that we've launched, where we're looking at integrating prop and engine controls to minimize pilot workload, improve obviously the MC and maintenance costs, and provide better value, less interface to our customer, because then we could definitely combine some of the accessories into one by doing so. So definitely, like I said, our intent is to leverage all those technology, not only for regional, but across Pratt Whitney Canada's family, And we've been successful in doing that in the past, and we'll definitely continue doing that in the future. In terms of commercial solutions, obviously we keep obviously talking about our fleet management program. So again, we're one of the pioneers in the regional. We keep doing it and tailor those FMP program to the different need of the customer, the operators. And obviously this year, a reduction versus last year. Actually, we signed up about $800 million of contract. This year is over 350 million, so that's still good. And definitely it helps the airline better manage their costs, giving them a solution that gives them cost guarantees, so it's better for them to plan their operations. So very, very good results again this year. In terms of prognostics for, we're basically pushing, as I mentioned earlier, the fast systems. And when we look at that, it's definitely it's a clear benefit. The more people use the fast, the more people want to use it, and they make recommendations on how we could improve and continue enhancing some of the features. And that's something the fast system does very well. It's very flexible. So whenever a customer wants to tailor the reporting, tailored to monitor different parameters, we're able to adjust that very quickly and provide a new software version overnight through cellular communication. So that's definitely something that's very much appreciated by our customers. Overall, at this point, per year, we're looking at, from a cash operating cost point of view, saving $15,000 to $25,000 per year, simply by just better managing data, right? And as you start adding up prop balancing and implement fast as part of the maintenance program, a lot of airlines see better benefits. So we've got, like I said, 400 installations done, both on the Q400 and on the ATR platform, with about 150 more to come. And we're going to expand those capabilities to propeller as well. So definitely our ideas is we basically have an engine that's unconditioned by adding, prop vibration monitoring and balancing. We believe we're moving towards a more unconditioned power plant system, which is, and again, a bigger scope, but that's what we hear the customer wants to have. On the other innovation side, it's called the oil analysis technology. This is a bit like taking a blood test of your engine. When you sample the oil, we develop a technology that's 100 times more precise and accurate than any other technology we have on the market. So that gives you the ability to do two things. First of all, be able to understand well ahead potential wear of some components. So we're talking 15, 20 hours before, talking 400 to 500 hours. So definitely provides the heads up to the airlines about what they have to monitor and when start tracking down on the engines and eventually plan some replacement. The second part is the technology is so sensitive, we're even able now to detect the different alloys. So that gives you a good insight about what could be the component that could be wearing, and then not only tell them you gotta watch the engine, but also guide them where to start looking for. That's definitely something that has been very well perceived from our customer. We're completing a pilot project in the regional. On some of our other markets, we are already commercializing that solution, and we're expecting to commercialize that solution next year. So definitely something that we're very happy, and then we'll continue doing that. And you can see some of the airlines that have been using the analysis on the bottom here. So when we talk about services, talk about the FMP, the other version also we're doing, another service we're offering our customers, the Fleet Enhancement Program. So what it is really an engine. A customer may have older engines running to a second or third overhaul, and now what they're doing is they have the ability to return that engine to us and get a brand new engine with a brand new set of accessories, completely new, and we'll take back their car at a cost that's very competitive, under or close to the overall cost. So that's definitely something that's more and more has been used. And then similarly for our legacy product, one of our intent is also provide solutions so the customer can keep their fleet flying. So we develop what we call the PLU Smart program, and over time we've developed many solutions, mostly at this point for product or engines that are out